And there'll always be tough times. There'll always be problems. There's always be dramas. There's always be blind sides that you don't see coming, right? What's the worst? You'll fall over. Well, someone will pick you up or pick yourself up and just go for it. Just keep going. And I think that's critical.
Welcome to the final episode of Season 4. As is tradition, Relentless Life on Your Terms always starts and finishes with a monster guest. In this case, it's no exception. Thanks for joining me. A good friend of mine, we used to work together at 420 St Kilda Road. He's at this new amazing office now at 627. Would it be on Chapel? James?
Chapel Street, yeah.
James Peltekis, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, mate. Very proud to be on the last show. Thank you.
Definitely. Now, you have a very interesting story. You actually started first job out of uni, your own business.
Correct.
29 years later, here we are.
Here we are. Well, it's amazing that when you say it like that, it seems epic. But at the time, had no money, had nothing to lose. And I always say it to everyone, start a business when you have nothing to lose. So got straight out of uni, started this business, worked from home, and decided, let's go for it. So here we are, 29 years later. We've got probably the biggest independent creative agency in the country. We service some incredible customers, from blue chip like Coca Cola to startups. And like, we couldn't be prouder, absolutely prouder of where we are at the moment.
And something that you told me, which is a massive, massive accolade and achievement, you've had certain clients for over 2 decades.
Correct. Like, we're really proud. We've just signed Coca Cola for our 28th year. So we've been in business 29 years. We've had Coke, we'll have for 29 years. So it's incredible, absolutely incredible.
It's obviously a testament to your leadership, your business acumen, because you wouldn't be here after so many years. Businesses don't even last 5 years. The statistic's very low to be 10, but to almost be 30 and to keep those clients for so long. What was your secret? How were you able to maintain, grow and scale a business of this nature?
I think hunger. And the biggest thing for us is that we are hungry to set the standard, to give our customers the best. We don't come to work every day, our team, to make money. Money comes. You do a good job, you look after people, and that's how you're rewarded. But at the end of the day, it's doing the best and looking after them. Our value proposition in our business, when we're asked what makes us unique, my answer was, I'll tell you what doesn't make us unique. Price doesn't make you unique because it's negotiable. Creativity is subjective. You might like it, I might not like it. But what makes you unique is the amount of care you give to your employees and your customers, which we spun that on our head and turned our values into the word care. Collaboration, attitude, respect, and engagement.
I love that.
That drives us, drives everything we do, drives our work, drives our belief, drives our philosophy, and drives that incredible care factor we give everyone.
I saw that on your website. I absolutely loved it. It said care, and then it went down and said a little bit of each letter.
Yeah.
And it's good that people live and breathe their values. Now, I've known you for quite a few years because you actually worked in the same building as I work, and who knows, we might even come to this building. It's so impressive. And I know you live and breathe those values. How many people have you been able to employ over that time? Because you've got a massive floor space. You employ both contractors and staff members.
What is so incredible for us is 99% of our staff is here because culture is king. We believe everything's about culture, right? And looking after your people, they look after you.
Of course.
You know, we've got one of our guys this year's 20 years with me.
And that's incredible. That's a great testament. But also, if you walk into this office, and I'm sure Nathan's going to go around and show you got a pool table at the front. The design's epic. But when I walked in here, I thought it was very James-esque, this place. It looks great. JPD.
Yep.
Which used to be your obviously still is your name, but you call it JP because it's a lot flashier, JPD.
Well, JPD stands for James Phillip Design.
Yep.
Phillip's my middle name, and design is what we used to do. We were known as a design agency. Our core business now is building brands, taking someone's business from here to here. It's not about marketing and it's not about pretty pictures. It's about sales. It's about revenue. So we sit more on that side. We understand how businesses grow. We write business plans, sales plans, and then the creativity is a bolt-on. But we've got 4 businesses now. So we've got a creative business, we have a digital business, we have a media buying business, and we're just about to launch our craziest business ever, which is an insights and research business. which is called WTF. But it's not what you think it is. It's want the facts. Do you want the facts about anything, any category, any industry? We've got it for you. So that's really exciting us. And that was driven by our customers going, validate everything. Validate everything you are doing before we go into market. Because we're a commercial business now.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's basically trust but verify. It's good. When you're data driven, numbers never lie. And you can make decisions around smart investment decisions based on data. People will have the confidence to invest in you. And if you're not going to do a good job, they're not going to stay with you. So obviously they are getting great results if they're with you for 20 odd years.
Yep.
Now you've won a ton of awards, I know, but there's one in particular that you're very, very proud of. And I can see it through so many things you do in business, which is one of the best places to work. What was the name?
Great Places to Work. So we've just got certified as Great Places to Work in Australia and New Zealand. So this is a global award. You have to apply for it. And then your peers and also the staff, this has got nothing to do with me. It's about our business. So it's quite difficult to win this award, or not win it, to be certified. And the sad thing is, on the average score in Australia and New Zealand for people's, they want to work there, it sits at 51%. It's really bad. So most people don't want to be in the job they're in.
Half the people that go to work
don't want to be there.
So
it's awful.
Wow.
So we scored in the high 90s in areas that most businesses can't, which is, it's called intimacy. So how close you are, the teams are together, honesty, the ability to be transparent, the ability to be heard, all those cultural things. We went through the charts and we're so proud of that. I think, and for me, that in 29 years, it's one of the most important accolades we could get, because it's not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of the business, right? Yeah. And the team we've got here.
Of course, and I understand what you're saying and I appreciate what you're saying. It needs to be fostered with good leadership, so it would be a big part of you, but your culture resonates. Yeah. Like tracks like, of course. So to be able to win that award, it's absolutely massive and great for your brand as well, to hire future team members.
Correct.
Great for also your clients to know that it's a great place to work. And it also would come out in your work, wouldn't it?
Well, it does. And what it does is it sets the bar. And what happens every year, you go for it. So the areas we didn't score as high as we liked, we're going to spend 12 months fixing them. So we want to be even better, a better version of ourselves every year. So it's a great benchmark. So we're not saying, oh, this is great, let's get better, let's get a higher number. And what this does is it allows you to track where your staff and your team feels the business can improve. And it's such a beautiful, honest voice, right? And most companies struggle to get there because I think they don't have the connection with their team. They don't have that care factor.
And you said as well too, it's honesty. So for people watching out there, because a lot of our listeners are business owners, what would be some of the key tips to be able to win such an award? What would you say to them?
I think the biggest thing is to give back to your staff, to look after them. They don't just work for you, they're part of you, right? And they represent you.
Of course.
So the better you can be as a boss and the more you can understand them and be sympathetic, the more they'll give back. And I think you get what you give, right? And without staff, we are nothing, right? It's not about turnover, and it's not about the biggest amount of clients. It's about retention. So the biggest advice I give any business is retention. Staff retention, customer retention. Because if you lose that, you lose everything.
Of course.
So if I go around in our office, we've got 20 years this year. I've got 15s, 16s, 10s, 11s, 9s, 10s. I've had staff that's left and come back.
Boomerang stuff, they call that.
Yeah, we call them boomerangs, right? So we've had a couple of boomerangs. And that's exciting, right? Because they go and see and they come back, right? Also customers. Yeah, we talked about Coke, but we've had other customers for 10, 12, 9, 8, 10 years. That excites me because we know even in a challenging market, the customer won't always go and look for a cheaper price.
Yeah, and
They
it's
want the value. They want the care. They know, you look after them. You do the right thing by them every step of the way.
it's like what you said. If you don't measure or look at the profits, and you look at Branson's a great example, and it's all about his people. If you look after your people, they'll look after your clients, that will look after your bottom line. It all kind of feeds into each other. And if you do it with the right reasons or the right care factor, which is your values, it's going to resonate that it's for the right reasons, which will enable you to be in business for 29 years, to build a big brand and to keep attracting people like that. What are some of the biggest, and I know there would have been many over your journey because I've only been business 18 years, but I've had a ton of lessons. What are some of your biggest lessons that you've had?
Loyalty, staff loyalty. So sometimes your biggest ally is not what you think they are. So you could be caring from one end and it doesn't work from the other, right? So this is why you have to work hard at that relationship, right? You have to make sure that you are always at your A game, right? You are giving these guys the best because they want to lead. They want to grow. And when they get static, problems happen. And same with customers. You have to always set the standard because when you become complacent, there's always someone trying to win your customer.
Your clients.
Always.
Your team members, your
always,
staff.
There's always people that are trying, as much as you think everything's good, complacency is the killer, right? Complacency with your team, complacency with your customers. Like we're working harder than we ever have to build better relationships. And you can say, well, after all these years, it's fine. It's never fine. It's never fine. It's always, just you've got to keep working harder. And I think that's critical.
I think too, I always say the day you become complacent or the day that this is how to do it is the day you expire. You've actually printed a date which you're going to be either out of business, lose your team or expire.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you said even though you scored 90 in some categories, you're looking at the other areas because things are never perfect. If you focus on progress, your business will get better, your client experience will get better, your team will get better, everything grows. One of my biggest goals I have every year when I go into Reventon, I want to walk into the business and not recognize it. I want to see that it's evolved that much. And it's through little changes but constant, to never become complacent, to say I want better for my team, for my clients, and of course for yourself.
Yeah. And I think it's always setting the standard and hitting the standard, but then going higher and keep going higher. And you're not going higher because you're an egomaniac or want more money. It's always about the customer. You need to give them more value, right? They deserve it. They look after you. So do the staff. So what more can you give? And I think that's critical.
You said care factor, and I remember in 2019, I got invited to Necker Island at Richard Branson's, and I had an opportunity to have breakfast with him, and he got me on his golf cart, and we're driving up to the top there. And I wanted to always meet him and go, I wonder if he's exactly as I thought, which to my surprise he was. As we're driving past, he had 200 to 250 people work on the island, knew everyone's name, was super polite, was so nice to them all. That care factor was exactly as I envisioned it with everyone that was going up. And
And I think authenticity is a big part to play. The person you see day to day is the person the customer needs to see, right? And I think as a business, you set apart because you're authentic. There's something that makes you different. Whatever that is, you've got to find that. And that's what great brands do. And that's our job. Sometimes we have to find that spark in a brand, the spark in the person, the spark in the product to make sure that you buy it or you engage with it. Because otherwise, we're white noise, right?
You're ordinary, or people will walk past it. So standing out in such a crowded market or trying to get people's attention, it's by being authentic.
Yeah.
So if I come to you as a brand and say to you, I want you to give me an overhaul, what are the things you're going to look at? You're going to analyze exactly what makes us different, what's a unique selling proposition, what makes us stand out. What would that introduction be?
Yeah, that's correct, actually. That's what we do, but that's process. Everyone can do that. You will only work with me because you believe in me and you believe in my team and you believe that our business will help you go to the next level. And we use taking brands to the next level a lot. That's a lot in our vernacular, right? Because that's what you pay us for, to help you go to the next level. You don't pay us to plateau. You want to go here. So that authenticity and that belief that we can do it, we've got your back. We're your partner. We care about you, and we're not a transaction. We're not here just for the cash.
It's transformational, not transactional.
Correct.
So you're looking at basically not acquiring a client, because people don't actually realize it's 6 times more cost effective and better to keep a client, to add a service, or to assist them than get a new client.
Correct.
So I always put a big focus on my business, not only to attract new clients. Client acquisition is always important if you want a growing business, in my opinion, but also to keep the clients that you've got. So your runoff rate to not be too high. One of my mentors used to tell me, Chris, you should try to be like an octopus. He said, you've got 4 brands, make it so easy for the clients to engage, but almost impossible to disengage, because you're providing so much value.
Correct.
Such a good service.
And we're very blessed in that our customers move. They move industries. So if they care about you and they know you do a good job, they take you. Our introduction into the pharmaceutical world, because probably 30% of our business, we play in that area. We build brands for the drug companies, for the big pharmas, was a client that was from Coke. And she went to GSK and she wanted to shake shit up. So she wanted to bring an FMCG-based creative agency into a conservative pharma world and shake it all up. And she said, pitch for this. Well, the rest is history. It was her belief to make a big disruptive change in a conservative industry that changed everything. And I owe her our whole pathway into pharma.
Of course, but why did you get that opportunity? Because you did a great job with her initially.
Correct.
Which is like with everything.
And she went to 4 other companies and took us to 4 other companies. So we're very lucky that this happens to, because we try and do our best.
Having raving fans, especially being clients, they're always a great source of business, new acquisition. Not many companies actually can hold that, but it's probably one of the big reasons, in my opinion, you've been around for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Client acquisition through existing referral basis.
Yeah, and retention. So this happens a lot for us. So it is critical to work on that relationship constantly. And it's little things, knowing someone's birthday, or, just those 1%ers. Like a very successful businessman who's passed away now always said to me, James, it's the 1%ers everyone remembers. It's that little thing you did for them. You sent them a gift for their birthday, or whatever that is, whatever touches their heart a little bit that's not work related, is they remember you.
And I always feel too, if you've got such a good relationship, it's inevitable that any business transaction, there's ups and downs. But when your relationship's so good, it can weather the storm, because you can have an honest discussion of what went wrong, how can we fix it, how do we get back on track, because you've built that relationship and that rapport.
Correct. And I think one thing I guarantee in business, and I tell my kids, you'll fail more than you'll ever succeed, so get used to it. Mistakes happen. Human nature, right? And especially in a fast-paced business like ours, things sometimes go wrong. And if you have a good relationship, you weather that storm. If you don't, you're cut off,
of course,
right? And it's over.
Well, you've got the opportunity to be able to weather the storm and fix it, and B, you need to deliver. Because most things that I've found in my experience is people know there's mistakes. We sell real estate, and then you've got to have finance, property management, accounting, financial planning. There's so many things that can go wrong. And when things do go wrong, what people remember the most with our client base especially is how you fixed it, how you were there, how you were responsive, and how you're able to make good on your promises.
Correct. Because you can't control the uncontrollable.
Of course. And you're dealing with so many factors.
Correct.
I always say to my clients when we hand over, I give them their settlement pack, and I used to say to them, this is where our service begins, it doesn't end. And it's that extra mile that enables them to become clients, not just customers.
Yeah, and you hope they become friends. And at the end of the day, your biggest achievement is them being advocates for you.
100%.
Because you don't need to sell. They're doing it for you.
Yeah, they buy off you. So I had, a week ago, I had my Lead with Kindness, which you came with your team, which I was so grateful for. Quite a lot of my clients were actually in that room.
Yeah.
A few of them were bidding and bought quite a lot of things at the auction. So these people have bought, there was quite a few, but the one in particular that I'm thinking about bought 3 auction items. They've bought 3 properties off me over the years. They've become great friends. They're advocates. When you come into my foyer, I've got a video of them, their little daughter as well. And they've become friends. On their birthday, I'll text them, because I've known them for quite some time. I don't know how many years, but it's been quite a lot of years.
And I think that's a testament to you too, but that's how you run a business, based on that family value and how you were brought up also as a child. I think what is important to you, your core, and the way you raise your own children, there's no difference to running a business. It has to be the same.
It's relationship based.
Correct.
And it's also sustainable. So some of the biggest challenges you've had in your business, where you said staff, what else? What are some of the lessons? So if someone's listening to this that wants to start a business, you mentioned give it a go when you've got nothing to lose. What else? What are some of the other challenges or some of the things you can tell people that
don't start a business to make money? It's the wrong way.
Why would you start one?
To make a difference.
To make a difference and a change?
Yeah, to make a difference and have a purpose. The money will come.
So that's a byproduct of you loving
Correct.
what you do.
Make a difference, have a purpose. What are we here for? We're not here for a long time. So I think having a purpose in life and having a purpose, your business has a purpose, whatever that is much more important than anything else because people will buy into that story.
You mentioned before a businessman that's passed. Do you have mentors still even to this day, James? Business mentors?
Of course. I have a lot of mentors. I'm one of these people that I run my business very differently. So one thing I always said is that I will never specialize because I don't believe you can be creative or help businesses and brands grow if you're a specialist in one area.
Which means what? So
let's say I just focused on fashion or real estate or FMCG. Our business, we touch all areas. So we deal with fashion, we deal with pharmaceuticals, we deal with FMCG products, we deal with food, we deal with real estate, we deal with builders. They're businesses. So you can merge that. So specializing, it's like you've got a lot of divisions, right? And you help an outcome and you have a purpose. Your purpose is to help people create wealth.
Yep.
That's your purpose. And that is amazing. And people buy into that. You're not there to sell a house or a loan or whatever. There's a bigger purpose. And you talk about this a lot.
I do.
Right? And you care about them and you want them to be successful and have that financial freedom. But that I think is what people believe. Yeah. Right? And you make that difference opposed to just being another business, right? So the purpose is critical.
Of course, as we've got as a build wealth, save time, live better. To grow, build, protect your wealth for now and generations to come. We haven't even mentioned real estate, but if real estate or even planning or shares is one of those vehicles. Yeah. But it's to create an impact. But I think you develop that the more and more you're in business or the longer, I think it starts to unpack itself a little bit more, the more mature you are in business. Yeah. And by having good mentors. Because by having a soundboard and discussing certain things with them, your purpose becomes clearer, it becomes more prominent.
Correct.
And it could change over time.
But yeah, most businesses don't start with a purpose. They start with either a product or a financial gain. But that's all good, you have that. But when you add the purpose in there, it just makes it easier to sell. The other thing I say to everyone is there's never a good time to start a business. Never, ever. So just start it. What have you got to lose?
It's true. I started in 2005. I scaled it in the middle 2008. When everyone knows what happened then, it was one of the toughest times. But the strongest businesses are built during recessions, during tough times, as scaled and they grow because the foundations are much different. And as we're seeing now through tough times, the ones that get through the other end are going to be rock solid.
Yeah. And there'll always be tough times. There'll always be problems. There's always be dramas. There's always be blind sides that you don't see coming, right? So it's never a smooth ride. You've just got to be resilient and just start. What's the worst? You'll fall over. Well, someone will pick you up or pick yourself up and just go for it. Just keep going. And I think that's critical.
I have to ask because I'm intrigued. So 29 years ago from uni, you started your own business. It didn't even cross your mind to get a job. You said, I'm doing this.
Yeah. So I had two options. So I studied industrial design, which is product design, from cars to furniture to fashion to fit outs like this, anything. So it's an incredible course, right? And my option was there was no jobs in Australia, so I go to London or America, which I didn't want to leave my family, or just do it. Nothing to lose. So I went and found a lady. She was a cold caller. I said, start ringing. We're doing business cards. She goes, what? Yeah, I'm going to sell business cards. Started. That was it.
And the rest is history.
The rest just, yep.
So James, where do you see the future of this business? What's the goals? What's the future plans?
So good question. A businessman I really, really respect, who's been a great mentor, taught me that you need a 10-year plan. 10 years and work backwards. So we have set a 10-year goal of where our business wants to be, right? It's very ambitious.
It's
right?
good. I wouldn't expect anything less.
No, very, very ambitious. Have no idea how we're going to get there.
It's okay.
We're fine and we're happy with that. But the key is we've got our business and our staff involved into this. And they believe in the growth. They believe in the future. But the biggest thing is the value adds to our customers. So we're looking at acquisitions. We're looking at other tech plays that we can add more money. Obviously, AI is the biggest thing.
Yep.
We've embraced it very, very well. It's so efficient for our business. The work we're doing is probably better than we could ever do and faster. So the value for our customers, they're getting better work,
More efficient, quicker.
quicker and cheaper.
Of course.
So how good's that? So I think technology will transform a lot of businesses, all businesses, right? And I think you need to be present and at the forefront of that and not be scared of it.
So you weren't scared all that AI will replace what we can do because you're using it to your advantage to enhance what you're doing.
Correct.
Quicker, better, more efficient.
100%.
So you got your big, hairy, audacious goal, 10 years, and you're reverse engineering the outcome and you're figuring it out bit by bit.
Exactly.
Love it.
Right.
Now, are you ready for your quick fire questions,
Let's
Mr.
do it.
James? All right. Now, what's one item you cannot leave the house without? Besides your mobile?
Wow, that is wearing black.
I've always seen you always in all black. All right. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Punctuality,
Always on, being on time.
time. Yeah.
What is the best gift you've ever received?
My kids.
All right. What is the worst gift you've ever received?
Wow, I didn't think of that. I love any gift because I think there's thought to it and people care. So I don't think there's a bad gift at all.
Great answer. What's something no one knows about you?
There's a lot people don't know about me.
Give me one that you're happy to share.
I spent most of my life doing combat martial arts. No one knows about it.
Wow. I love martial arts. I don't know if you know that, but we're going to talk about this offline. I love that.
And I used to, so I had a contra with a mate. He was a professional boxer, fourth dan in jiu-jitsu, and he wanted to learn Photoshop. And I'd already done like 12 years of martial arts, judo, but I said, let's do combat, close, really close stuff, not fancy. And it was the best 4 years I ever had with this guy.
How long have I known you, James? Years now.
Years, yeah.
And I had no idea.
Most
And
people
that's
don't.
one of the things that I love the most.
Yeah. Most people don't know this about me.
Well, that's great. We've got a lot more to talk about. Now, what's the name of one book that's positively influenced you?
So this is embarrassing, but I'm not a big book reader. And the reason why is I don't have the patience, but I listen to a lot of it, podcasts so I've started to listen to Headway at the moment, 15 minutes. And there's a couple of ones that I've told my staff, right? One is don't overthink, right? So this is a whole book about overthinking, right? Because that is not good for any business.
Of course, procrastination is terrible.
And the other thing is how to influence people to buy. Now, this is not brainwashing. One thing that actually you probably don't know also about me is that I spend a lot of time with customers talking about neuropsychology.
I love that.
Behavioral, how to change people's behavior and look at your product opposed to another. So I spend a lot of time doing that, and we implement that into our creativity. We don't tell a lot of people about this, but because we think
There's
it's just
science
part
behind, like NLP.
Science,
Of course.
everything, because there's things that we all actually do the same. You know, very simple one. We're a creature of habit, or there's shopper paralysis. You're walking, oh, it's too hard, I'll just buy whatever, right? So those things really are critical to how we work.
Paralysis by analysis, but NLP and stuff is the psychology of the mind and how people buy.
It's amazing. I love, I'm embarrassed to say I don't read enough books, but I listen to a lot of things.
You absorb content. How to Win Friends and Influence People is great. And before we mention purpose, and I'd like to share with people great books they can read by Simon Sinek, Start With Your Why, Know Your Why. That really establishes your purpose. Now, do you have any tattoos?
No.
If someone was to play a movie and cast you, which actor would play you?
Johnny Depp.
Quick and I see it.
100% Johnny Depp, no one else.
What's one piece of advice you would give to our listeners?
Regarding what topic?
Any topic. What's one piece of advice? Could be business, could be personal.
Be true, be authentic, be you. Just be you.
Who is your hero and why?
Wow. My hero are my kids.
They're your inspiration. Favorite food?
Greek.
Of course. Good.
Yeah.
Good answer, Lucky.
Yeah.
Favorite color?
Black.
Of course. If you said blue, I'd be worried. What's your go-to stress technique? So when you're really stressed, you're running a very big, successful business. What's your go-to stress technique?
This sounds weird, but go harder.
That's me too.
Go harder.
Yeah. Now, it's been an absolute pleasure. Last question, from a scale of 1 to 10, how much have you enjoyed being on this podcast?
100. It's been amazing.
Absolute legend. Loved having James. It's been a while since I've been trying to get him on the show. Massive finish to season 4, Relentless Life on Your Terms. Thank you. Remember, if you like my content, subscribe, share it. Thank you.